right. I've actually got the first question, and this is our first Friday after class interview, which is totally awesome. Let me bounce over. So I love this question a lot. So Teresa, can you tell us about a teacher who changed your life? And we can
Ooh.
edit out any deep pauses that you might need to take at all.
Well, that's a hard one because I had a couple different teachers. But I would say maybe one of the biggest teachers was Jim Maddox. So he was a composition teacher. He retired. He's still in the community, pretty active. Um, he was a really, really good inspirational teacher that read my work, and I was kind of like maybe not doing the best I could possibly do when I was a student at NICC. And I wasn't doing necessarily the best I could do. And he was like, "Your work is phenomenal. It is so good. Your writing is so great. I can't wait to see what it looks like when you put in full effort." And it was like his way of being like, "I know that you did not put in full effort. I'm giving you this A um, because it was really good." And then that made me want to do better. So I've tried to be goofy like Jim Maddox, but also inspirational enough where students put in extra work. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, on the next Friday after class interview, you can tell us about this other instructor. So
Yeah, yeah.
keep them, keep them. That's cool.
Carmen
That's awesome.
Hernandez, just a quick shout out. No. Uh,
All right. So the next question is, what's a book you recommend to everyone?
that's really hard because I read for fun.
That's fine. It does
I
not have to
read for
be,
fun.
it doesn't have to be a work
Great. Yeah.
related book. Yeah.
Dresden Files.
Oh,
Absolutely
I love the
recommend
Dresden Files.
you. That's
I
great.
do.
I absolutely recommend it because it takes the sci-fi fantasy mystery world and it puts it in modern day times
Yeah.
out of Chicago. So it's actually really, really good read. And it's got a big long series that's still coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely recommend that
And
one.
they're funny.
They are. They're hilarious. They're actually they have some really good hidden like good things for us to take away like as just as a society, as humans, the way we interact with each other. So, it's not just a sci-fi fantasy read, it's also, got its inspirational moments too and funny and take you out of your own head, which is what
Yeah.
I read for, is to take me out of my own, head.
I think he does a good job of getting progressively darker in the series, but they're still funny. They still manages to be funny.
And if you've ever did the audiobooks, James Marsters is the voice actor in that. And so Spike from Buffy, for all
Oh,
those that
okay.
aren't sure who that is, he's got a very uh so Harry Dresden, he's got a very good voice actor for the Audible books too, if you read that.
Nice. I have not listened to them. I've only read them. All right. So I have the next question too, which is, what is one of your favorite activities that you do with your students in the classroom?
Um hmm. In the very, very beginning of the semester, students are sort of still kind of in their own bubble and they're nervous with interacting with other students. And they're maybe just not sure what's going to go on at NICC, what the difference kind of is between high school and college. And so there's just this apprehension piece that's there. And so we play a game where we throw a ball around and we say each other's names. My name is this, you throw it to the next person. And so at first they don't know each other's names and it makes them pretty nervous. I'm like, okay, well, what would you do if you don't know somebody's name? Well, I'd ask them their name. Okay. So then as it progressively goes, I add more balls in. They are tossing it, dropping them, laughing. They're learning each other's names, which is really awesome. But then at the end of the activity, we get it back down to just one. It's pretty simple. Actually, sometimes I throw a lizard in there, toy lizard, and they're like, "What?" And it shocks them. And they toss that for a little bit before they're like, "Are we really throwing this?" And at the very end, we bring it back down to just one singular one. We slow it down, and we talk about how that's going to happen throughout the semester. They're going to get too much on their plate, and never once did they slow it down. They just kept throwing and throwing and I've only had one class ever slow it down and go, wait, can we slow this down? This is going way too fast. Only one time in all of the years I've been doing this activity, which is for more than 5 years. And so it really is just that reminder piece. Like college is going to get intense over the next few months. You're going to feel stressed and overwhelmed. You need to ask people questions, right? Ask the name. And then you also need to slow it down and maybe get rid of some things that is making it too much on your plate. So
that's great.
Very nice. Yeah. Two more questions. These are kind of a little bit more fun here. And I know you a little bit from the center, and so I know some of these things, but maybe you can surprise us here. What's one hidden skill or talent that people would be very surprised to learn that you possess?
In my free time, I volunteer for local community theaters. And so I either run spots or I help build sets. I have done lights. So definitely not a lot of people think of me as a theater person, but in my free time, that's what I do for volunteer work.
I put you firmly in that theater person camp in my own.
Yeah.
Based on, but I knew a little bit of that before. Is there a specific thing that you're really, really good at when it comes to that volunteering? Like, are you an expert lighter? Just hyper precise.
I definitely would not. I definitely would not say I'm an expert lighter. I actually really am good at spots. I think that is definitely one of my strong suits. I'm really good at spotlights. So spots is like being able to follow people, shut off, turn on quickly. Sometimes actors can't find their spot, so you have to be because they're not supposed to just kind of walk around the stage. They're supposed to every single night. It's supposed to be the same, but that's not always the case. So I'm pretty good at like quickly adjusting to an actor who cannot find their spot.
I had no idea that occurred, and that makes a lot of sense. That's interesting.
Yeah. So sometimes actors, like, because they have the rehearsals where they have to keep doing the exact same thing over and over again. And so spots by that point should know exactly where someone is going to stand, and it shouldn't really be trying to follow them or find them. But some actors get nervous, or they're humans, and so they quickly, do something different. And so just being able to catch up with them. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, we got one last question. Caleb's got it.
All right. And this is also for the group. So is a hot dog a sandwich? Why or why not?
I say it is. It's absolutely a sandwich because unless you're eating a hot dog without a bun, because I do eat hot dogs without a bun. It's not. Absolutely not. But if you're putting it between two pieces of bread and you're even adding some condiments, and a really, really good hot dog has pickles and maybe tomatoes and onions, right? And so definitely a sandwich at that point.
I agree. I agree. It's a sandwich. I agree that it's a sandwich. I cannot get behind putting tomatoes on a hot dog.
I'll eat anything on a hot dog.
Lots of the tomatoes.
What's this thing about people in Chicago not putting ketchup on hot dogs? I don't know about this. Say what about this?
Cardinal sin. Yeah.
It is, because you ruin
I don't know anything about it.
So what do they put on? Tomatoes?
Yeah.
Not that much different.
Yeah, they do like poppy seeds, and they do like relish and tomatoes and mustard and all that stuff. It's supposed to add like more flavors to it versus like ketchup dilutes it or whatever. I don't know. So
sweet or something. Yeah, savory versus sweeter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could also make the argument that a hot dog could be a taco if the bun is thin enough.
Yeah.
Is a hot dog a taco?
Whole other area we have to explore.
Right.
I'm pretty well persuaded. I didn't come in with an opinion, but Teresa's argument is strong, in my opinion. Yeah. Nice.
All right. Well,
that was Friday after class.
That was awesome. Right. Yeah. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Game over.